Right, so something incredible has happened. Not only is it not yet dark, the sun is out. So I think we should get on with it while that is still the case. Okay? So, today's planting, although I've been more organised time-wise, is a little bit more disorganised in terms of species, so this may take a little while to cover. But first thing you should know is the reason they're going here right next to the Gmelinas, which I planted the other week, which you might be able to see are starting to drop their older leaves, which is something I should have done to them, and something I will actually do as I go along to most of the trees I'm planting today, apart from the palm tree. They're basically trying to conserve water. They do have some promising little bits of perking up at the tips of the new growth, so I'm fairly sure that they've got it under control. But for the reason it's here, not only do I want the Gmelinas to grow straight for it, because I do want to use them for timber, I also don't like what is already growing here, and it seems to be the only thing willing to seed itself here, which is the Mexican sunflower, Tithonia, which I have been blaming for my hay fever for a very long time. Even though I know it doesn't distribute its pollen, whenever it's in flower I really struggle to breathe. So any chance to scythe it down and plant something else which will slowly exclude it, I am very happy with. So in order, I am planting African date palm, which is Phoenix reclinata, with Dracaena fragrans wild type and an Aloe nurensis, I think. And one of the calincos from Madagascar, which I will put the name of up on the screen. The Dracaena and the calico will be the same for all of these. This palm tree was growing right on a path where not only is it going to get damaged by people trampling, it was also very sharp and painful to keep walking into. So I thought best to dig it up and replant it. Next along, I'm planting a Jacaranda, which is a Central American tree which has a beautiful flower. I think it's Central American. I'm assuming it's Central American, mostly because of Encanto including it, and they seem to be mostly quite good at their botany in that. I will check and it will be up on the screen, which is also going in with the same Dracaena. That one's going in with an Aloe Cameroni, which is the native Eastern Province aloe. I think it's Aloe Cameroni. And now that was growing, again, right next to a path in such a way that it was pushing people moving along the path off onto plants I had planted on the other side of the path, which I didn't want the path to go over. So that was coming out, but I didn't want to cut it down because they are a beautiful tree, and you know, they also make quite a good timber when they are mature. After that, it is another Jacaranda, this time with an Aloe arborescens, and then, which is the Krantz aloe, and then after that we've got the tree hibiscus, which also has a whole lot of names, including snot apple, which I don't think is a really nice description. It is a native fruit tree. It also has a fantastic flower. It is related to hibiscus, although it's not, as far as I know, currently in hibiscus. I think it's in Garcinia, but I could have that wrong. There is a similar name that I often get mixed up. It has a beautiful flower that changes colour over the course of the first day it comes up, and it does have an edible fruit. It won't be as big as the rest of these, but the rest of these, apart from the palm tree, I do intend to coppice, so it should get along fine. And I have seen it growing in relatively sort of canopied woodland, so it shouldn't be too troubled by these. Next to that, I have an East African flame tree, which is also called a tulip tree. It can be quite invasive, although it doesn't seem to be too invasive here because it does tend to die. So it reaches maturity, it flowers beautifully and prolifically, and then it just gets a fungal infection and rots, which is great for the soil. And in the meantime, it's a pretty tree, and it's, rather than having it wasted because it was growing right by a wall, as was the tree hibiscus, where it would have cracked the wall as it grew, much better, I think, to move it somewhere where it can grow up, we can enjoy its flowers, and then it can feed the soil without causing any problems. And then after that, we finally have a third Jacaranda tree with another Aloe arborescens. And then between them all, I'm putting some more Opuntia ficus indica and some agaves. I don't think it's agave americana, I think that's the big one, but I'll put the name up on the screen. Both of which are Central American, which should act as a little bit of a firebreak as they mature, and also help keep the grass down so that where these trees are is less flammable. So that should be it for today. So tune in tomorrow to see if I can keep this up. Probably can't.